What's going on, everybody? Welcome to BMT, coming at you again. We are now here for the Hour of Power. I'm joined here with the two content creators that literally we were busy for, I think, what, about 2 days now, guys? About 2 days of research, gathering, interviewing, talking. And you see, we had to put on our professional attire for this one. We've been taking our notes. We've been going over a lot of stuff. And we're ready for this one. We're definitely ready. And so we like to bring y'all the best content possible, that you can use as well as be informed on, especially here on the Hour of Power, this Labor Day special. A lot of things have happened. A lot of things that have happened that can actually benefit you, and a lot of things that are going to hurt you in days to come. And it's our job here at the Hour of Power where we got to let down our hair and doggone keep you informed about the know-how about what's going on. So join us today here with BMT, here with Kai, and as well as Attorney Nichelle, also of BMT, as we go over proper information, constitutional rights, as well as grassroots information going on. So I sound off today. What's going on, ladies? Welcome to the Hour of Power, the Labor Day special. Can you guys unmute yourself, and can y'all hear me?
We can hear you just fine.
Yes.
Happy Labor Day, everyone.
Good evening, everybody.
Happy Labor Day, guys. Happy Labor Day. Happy Labor Day. And definitely, we took our time to do this one. We were a little bit iffy, but there was a lot of stuff that came out that's very sensitive. That is going to be changing some people's jobs, the work atmosphere, especially for some people in schools, and their lifestyle of living. But that's why that's why now I'm seeing where it's better for us to take our time. If it takes 1 day or 2 days, I'd rather us get it all together and get it right. And actually, the information that we get, you can also look down below. You know what I'm saying, guys? You can also look down below in the description. Also, I want to let you know also, there's going to be some graphic content warning. There's going to be some graphic content being shown. But that's going to be later on at the end. So stay tuned. There's going to be some graphic content that we're going to be going over. So I must warn you, if you are squeamish to violence or seeing death, please turn it off. I will let y'all know when you see this come up below. Okay? When you see graphic content, that's when if you're not privy to death, it's okay to click off. Shout out to all the mods that are coming through, and shout out to everybody. Please share the video, get out the video. You have Attorney Nichelle here, we'll be going through law, as well as you have our researcher and developer, Kai, who goes over our information, as well as digging up the proper grassroots networking. Kai is here. I'm your host, BMT, and founder of BMT. So we took our time with this one. We really did. So in doing this, we're going to be trying to do it in like an hour and a half. So we're going to be very strategic, ladies, very strategic about how we go about doing this. And there's a lot of content. I love the Hour of Power now, how we have it set up, because that means we only have so much time to BS around. And so let's get to it. If y'all ladies are ready. Is there anything I want to say before we start?
Oh, we're ready.
Okay.
Come on.
All right, let's get it cracking. So, first topic coming up, and let's get it cracking. Trump banning federal funding of all diversity programs and saying that they're un-American. Michelle, do you want to start off with that? What is it?
I want to hear a black man talk about it first, because one of the things that I'm looking at is that you're talking about the federal agencies, the training, the diversity training that federal agencies provide for their workers in dealing with the general public. There's no doubt the United States is becoming much more diverse. There are a lot of different languages, a lot of different religions than we're actually.
Here. Can you hear her? Michelle, we can't hear you. You're cooking, babe. We can't hear you. Okay, so while she's handling that right there, I'm going to go ahead and get into it. I'm going to go ahead and get into it about diversity and why that is very important, of why I take diversity training very serious. It's a very important thing to learn at jobs. Most work sites, and I and Kai can tell you that you will learn professionalism in certain, the higher you go up, with diversity training on how to deal with women, how to deal with men, the proper customs and cultures and stuff. I can show you right now with, hang on, let me, we got our girl Michelle back. Let me grab her. There we go.
You got some what happened?
I'm gonna fill in for you, Michelle. So
okay.
I can show you right now. Boom. So right here, this is when diversity training comes into play. Y'all two understand? This is when diversity training comes into play, where I learn how the proper customs of what to say, what not to say, how not to offend other cultures. Is literally, you could offend or say one thing that could break a $1 million deal. You could say something that could cause a war. You could say things that can slightly offend somebody that can cause all kind of mishaps for the next generation to come. These are important things, especially in government, because a lot of men and women have to go through diversity training. We have to learn it every way or form or fashion, especially when I was over there in the Middle East. You're calling somebody's place a mud hole. Guess what? I had to learn. If I walked into a certain building and there were some women in there, guess what? I, as a man, cannot go touch their women. I cannot go touch their women. No matter.
And as a woman, I can.
Go ahead.
As a woman, I had to learn that you don't. I can see another woman's face, but I'm not to touch them either. That there is social graces that it's just a matter of respect of someone else's culture. If someone is Jewish, you don't send them an Easter basket. Things like that, little simple things.
Yes. And see, these types of things can make and break. Y'all gotta understand, our country is the bedrock built on diversity. It's built on different cultures, training, ethoses that we literally, and I know a lot of people say we're a melting pot. Yes, we're a melting pot of different diversities. As you can already see, diversity training is any program designed to facilitate positive intergroup interactions, reduce prejudice and discrimination, and generally teach individuals who are different from others how to work together effectively. What do you think about that, Kai? Kai, can you hear us?
Okay. Can you hear me? I don't know what's not to say. It just sounds like basically he's putting an end to integration and just learning more about each other to continue to integrate. Because diversity itself, the meaning is understanding each individual and their uniqueness, sexual orientation, economic status, all age, all those different things. So he's saying get rid of that. When most of it is culturally based, from what I know, most of the time diversity training is for, basically what you just showed. I'll have to see how it play out. I don't know. I don't see how you can ban it. I don't.
I agree wholeheartedly with you, and we're about to look into that. Y'all gotta understand, diversity training is set up to protect you. That's literally, I've had that said plenty of times. Why are we learning these things? Why do we have to learn these things? I'm not these people. It's set up just like y'all feel a certain type of way when somebody does their hair a certain type of way, or when somebody says something to you, and they're like, yo, like, that's not what you do. And you're training or teaching them the diversity of you. Sure. This happens all the time. It's happening all the time. So let me grab it. Trump tells agencies to end training on white privilege and critical race theory. Now, if y'all also want me to grab another one, I can go ahead and do that from BBC, Forbes. So I want you to understand, there are different groups of sources that also are looking into this. So I can go ahead and grab any one of them. And literally, this was big news. Why? Because the U.S. is known for diversity. The Trump administration has instructed federal agencies to end racial sensitivity training. That address topics that white privilege and critical race theory, calling them divisive, anti-American propaganda. In a letter to federal agencies Friday, the director of the Office of Management and Budget said that the president recently became aware of the racial sensitivity programs, racial sensitivity programs, which encourage frank conversation about race in the workplace and discuss potential actions to combat systematic racism. The memo issued by OMB Director Russell Vell reads in part, all agencies are directed to begin to identify all contracts or other agencies spending related to any training on critical race theory, white privilege, or any other training or propaganda effort that teaches or suggests either that the United States is an inherently racist or evil country, or that any race or ethnicity is inherently racist or evil. The memo said agencies should begin to identify all available avenues within the law to cancel any such contracts, or, mind you, so that means contracts. So if you have certain contract companies that teach diversity training, which is normal for a lot of corporations, government contracts, and law and medical practices, you have contract agencies that teach diversity. So how you would normally operate on an American, certain cultures don't allow that. Certain diversities of people do not. On our dog tags, we have our cultural beliefs, and depending on what your belief, guess what? That's the way they can touch you or operate on you. These are serious things that they can be sued on. So Nichelle, I pass it back over to you. Go ahead.
I mean, part of the problem is the backlash over critical race theory. You hear oftentimes that how racist could the United States be to elect a black man? That statement in and of itself is coupled around our racist history in the past. Barack Obama's mother was a Caucasian American. So the fact that they only saw him as a black man in and of itself, instead of saying that he was an American, he was a black American. It almost was as if they subconsciously went back to the days of the one drop rule. We see that with Kamala Harris, that the culture puts a racial put on us, I should say. They put things on us. This is part of your culture. Barack Obama now represents black people. Oh, Kamala Harris, she has one drop. She represents black people. But at the same time, it's a pushback over this idea that white people, critical race theory, let me read this to you. The view that law and legal institutions are inherently racist and that race itself, instead of being biologically grounded in natural.
She's on mute. Michelle, just hit.
Oh.
Michelle, you're on mute.
Can she hear you?
Michelle, you're on mute. Come on, dear. I don't think we can hear her. But one of the painstakingly wrong things about this, that it's going to definitely set us back, is that the fact that we're talking about that, first off, that we're calling this un-American. I think that's one of the big issues that we are having. We're calling this un-American. Now, the problem about that is calling these kind of things un-American can be very divisive, because what is the straightforward definition of American? Is it a blue-eyed, blonde-haired white person? Or can it be somebody like me and Kai or Michelle? Or can it be somebody who's Asian or Arab or Indian? You gotta understand that there's no one set way of being American. That's the beauty about being an American. There is no one set way. It's just called being an American. And literally, we learn each other's cultures. We learn each other's stuff, each other's backgrounds and histories and stuff. We learn the do's and don'ts of how to treat people and respect their boundaries, as well as their belief system. Kai, anything you want to wrap up before we take it on to the next one?
Just that the whole un-American is an adjective. The adjective is meaning going against the characteristics of being American. So like you said, what is being American then? What is that? So if this is contrary to the interests of the United States, is what he's saying. Everything you just read is contrary to the United States. That's crazy.
That is crazy. And so that is one of the biggest things I couldn't, for the life of me, understand why we would actually go about that type of narrative of calling it un-American. I'm gonna tell you right now, it's definitely is going to cause a weight on other communities. Definitely gonna cause a weight with building up a foundation with other people. It's going to cause us to actually have a rift with other societies, other cultures, other backgrounds, other studies in society. So we need to be very ready that some people are going to go in blind and ignorantly into these said spaces. And literally, if they're not ready, they're going to have problems. They're going to have issues. There might be stuff where they might be sexually, mentally, or psychologically abused because they don't know. So I want you to understand that these things are going to come with a immense burden of backlash. And some of y'all are saying, whoa, BMT, you taking it to the extreme. Am I? Am I really? Or I'm only talking about something.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you lost me a bit with the part of it. What were you saying with the who gonna be abused? You said somebody could end up getting sexually abused?
Yes. The reason why
all right, you just lost me a little with the
okay, so let me tell you how you get sexually abused. Well, one thing that we started to learn about in the Arab culture, right? In the Arab culture, two men hold hands. I'm not sure if you've ever seen it before, but men actually hold hands their culture. Okay, now we would take that as being gay. Okay, they would mean that as I actually trust you. I care for you. When they hold hands, that means they actually care about each other. Where they were actually to get an Arab man, or I'm telling you from my experiences, I've held hands with Arab men and we walked through the hallways or their palaces and stuff. That means them saying, "I trust you."
Which hand did they hold? Which hand did they hold? Which one of your hands did they hold?
Not the one that they white with. Not the one that they white with, Michelle. I know what you're saying. Not the one that they white with. But see, when they do that, I would have to take off my glove and actually hold their hand, and I would walk. None of that shaking stuff, but actually we were
in contact.
Yes, they wanted skin contact. Right. They wanted to see, do I trust them enough? You know, just like when, you know, as brothers or people, we do that solid hand clap, like solid. You know what I'm saying? When we do that hands that we clap it hard together and we pull each other in, that's showing that, hey, I rock with you. So with them, but also this is something this is something to let you know that they care about you and that they will die for you. That they would actually pull you in and kiss you on your cheek. Now, a lot of people will say, whoa, that's them being gay. Y'all don't believe me? Go ahead and look it up. But if they do that, if one of the older men kiss you on the cheek, he is respecting you as a son, as an ally, and as a brother. Where he will literally, you could be in danger from somebody else and they will hide you and protect you. They will not give you up. They would rather die than do that. So, but we also had where one person tried to hold another man's hand. He said, whoa, I'm not like that. And in doing that in front of other men, it shamed him. You understand what I'm saying? Pulling his hand back like that shamed the prince. Because he felt disrespected that you're not good enough to touch me. You're not good enough to be close to me. So when we had a soldier do that to him, he took it as you're looking down upon me. You're an American, I'm a prince. I'm reaching my hand out. It's like when Jesus was kissed on the cheek by one of his disciples. That's just how their customs are. Our customs are different of how whenever you meet another man in business, what are you supposed to do? Shake their hand and look them in their eyes. Some people take that as what?
Joe, you also have to be mindful. It goes beyond that. I mean, the ending of diversity training was because it was causing resentment among people in the workplace. You have to ask yourself, why would you be resentful if people are sharing their culture? And why would you be resentful learning about redlining, learning that, okay, all these laws that we have, they're called precedents. They're called precedent. All these Supreme Court rulings, they get carried on and on and on until they're finally overturned or Congress acts. So you do have many Supreme Court decisions that are carryovers from a time in which we were dealing with active racism, government-sponsored segregation. And they said, okay, these laws are fine. And that has carried over, where the courts have been very reluctant to strike down laws passed by the states or by Congress as fueling the racist fires, fueling segregation. And those are laws that we have to work with on a daily basis. So, for example, one of my biggest pet peeves is, all of you understand, is qualified immunity. So if we're ending this practice of training our federal workers on cultural differences, and qualified immunity already says, well, if they don't know about it, how can you say they violated? Then we're intentionally allowing federal agencies to put their heads in the sand and ignore some of the systematic racism that's still on the books. There's still racist laws on the books. So that's what we have to really think about, is when we're doing these cultural diversity things. Most white people do not know that Black women really don't like you playing in their hair like they're a dog. They really don't. So those are simple little things that I think is important. I mean, I don't know how better to explain that ending these diversity programs, because they might cause resentment, or they have caused resentment in a certain part of society, would just mean maybe we need to add more into our training for people who feel resentful because they have been left out. Kai, did Joe go off and leave us?
It looks like it.
So how do you think it's going to work out with this ending diversity training, because it's causing resentment among white males, white females? Who do you think is really causing the resentment about?
Well, if we're dealing with diversity, it pretty much is going to affect everybody. I think we tend to isolate, like, I feel like it's more for, of course, people of color, things like that. That's what somewhat of the diversity training is really somewhat geared towards too, and dealing with different people from different socioeconomic backgrounds, racial backgrounds, all that. You got to be able to do that. But some things that are going to affect Black people, other people watching or may watch this at some point, you got to understand it's going to affect you too. Some things are not just going to affect the Black community, no matter how much you may try to. They're trying to, like, I feel like, you know, like put us all in an area, or certain individuals stay over here, then they stay over there. You know what I mean? Like, you can't do that. It's still going to have an effect on other cultures.
Yeah, you have to also
so
think,
it's not
like I said,
sense.
maybe instead of ending the diversity, expand it, because like there are a lot of rural people, whether you're Black or white. Your experience coming from a rural, how do you say rural? Good Lord, you know what I'm talking about. Versus suburban. Some people from the suburbs, not everyone grew up in the suburbs, regardless of your culture. Some people come from the country backgrounds. It's a difference between coming from the Appalachian Mountains and coming from a ranch in Texas. It's obviously much different than growing up in Manhattan. I mean, there are things in a country founded on 50 states. Each of the states pretty much had their own religious backdrop, and we united together. The Constitution says the federal government cannot establish a religion. It didn't say that each state could not establish a religion. So that in our very basic hardcore of our Constitution, it was recognized that people may want to self-segregate based on their religious practices or based on their ethnicity, where they can't, their cultural affinity. There are places where there were more people who, Texas was pretty much founded by people of German descent who came here first. Look at France. I call it France. Louisiana. It had a higher French influence. These are things that diversity training can help all the way around. So just to say it's causing resentment and we have to end it is a little short-sighted. Joe, I'm sorry.
No. Thank you for that. That's why I love my co-host.
I'm gonna have to X off and come right back again. Another phone call came through. Sorry.
It's all good. But I'm glad that's why we got co-hosts to pick up the slack when one of us goes down. The next subject that we're going into is subject number 2. The education system with drastic changes. We had a young man that was supposed to come in, but he wasn't able to make it through. But we'll have Kai pick up on that. Kai, there's some we were going over that there have been some drastic changes in the education system, especially up there in the Northeast. We know that the Northeast, as well as other schools, are starting to deal with, and a lot of people don't notice that a lot of schools are going through drastic changes. My children will be taking place in hybrid learning, but also taking place in hybrid learning. I'm not sure how it is for some of y'all schools. A lot of teachers have been let off. A lot of teachers have been let go. Kai, we pass it over to you.
All right. There's been like dozens around the country of teachers around the United States that are resigning. Excuse me. It's my first time doing an ad to the screen, so a share screen. So I'm trying to work on doing that.
That's all good.
So I could pull that up. But yeah, there's a lot of people. So basically they've been doing polls nationwide, and at least around 50% of the teachers as a whole are saying that they are more likely to resign, possibly immediately, or retire early. A small percentage of that are new teachers. So they said around 5% are teachers that have been teaching for somewhere maybe between 5 to 10 years. The teachers that have taught for 10 to 20 years, some of them, but about 55% of the ones that have taught for 30 plus, they said they'll probably retire. But personally, there's probably two reasons for that, because they're probably of that age up to retire.
Click on the window that you want us to see, Kai.
Oh.
Yeah, just click on it. And,
I got caught up in talking. Sorry.
No, it's good. You're all good. Gotcha.
Wait, click. All right.
All right, the window that you want us to see, but you got it on share screen. Click on the window that you want us to see.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? Because right now you got it on you. Just click on the window that you want us to see.
Yeah, I thought oh.
You got it. It's all right. There you go. Gotcha. Boom. No, yeah. Okay, that's your email.
Yeah, no.
We'll let you get that squared, and then after that. But I can tell y'all right now, a lot of colleges, as well as a lot of schools, especially in my area. Yep.
Did you want to finish what you were saying, though?
No. I wanted to say that a lot of schools, a lot of colleges, they are letting go. The teachers are resigning, and they are quitting. And a lot of their things that they're saying is, I don't get paid enough for this. I got enough stuff going on in my life, and I'm not really even getting compensated like that. But now I got to risk it all for COVID. And some children are coming to school with COVID. Sucks. Anything you want to say in the show before we go to the video?
I just wanted to say, one of the things we have to remember is COVID is a new illness, and we don't know the long-term side effects. The reason there's not college area football right now is because out of those that tested positive for COVID, whether they showed symptoms or did not show symptoms, over 1/3 of them showed inflamed hearts that were 10 to 20 or higher above normal. And so these athletes that have this coronavirus, whether they show symptoms or not, they have heart enlargements. And they don't know if those symptoms are going to be temporary or they will last the rest of their lives. That can turn a star athlete into a mediocre athlete in a heartbeat, just because their heart literally beat has decreased so much. So go ahead and play the video.
All right, go ahead, Kai.
All right. I just want to say, BMT, I didn't hear any teachers complaining about salary. I have heard that in the past, but right now I just hear more compassion regarding the virus.
I wanted to
I hear what you're saying, but
the reason why I bring it up is this. The reason why I brought up one about that, we see there that would sound like they're being selfish. But one thing about it is, one, they don't have the necessary equipment. It's no secret that a lot of schools are highly underfunded. So it's one thing that you're coming out of pocket buying school supplies for your children. Some people say, "Oh, that's not true." That's a lie. A lot of teachers are coming out of pocket for their kids. Next thing is buying these masks. Add up. Sanitizer adds up. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I get the janitor is doing what he can, but a lot of these people are like, listen, a lot of these teachers have other lives where they have to step up to fill in the gap for their children that they might have, or grandparents or other people, and risking it all, it might not be conducive to their health. And as well as you're bringing the unknown to them. Go ahead. You can go ahead.
All right, I'll go ahead and you kind of help set the tone for this too. This is a teacher from Eagle Mountain School, and she's at their most recent school board meeting, if I can talk. And she just expressing herself, and you just see, and I've seen this in other meetings, and I'm just get right to it. But there's unexpected news that's being delivered at these meetings too. If you guys just take the time sometime and look, and just here we go.
Make a final adjustment for more comfortable nights with a new mattress.
I might not be able to avoid that.
No, I got you. I got you.
I'll read. But
I'm going to play past the ad. Just go ahead and play past the ad. It's all good.
Okay.
But
I didn't expect that.
Do y'all think that it is? I want to know before while the ad is playing. Do y'all think, just yes or no? Do y'all think it's fair that these teachers are being forced into an environment of the unknown with COVID? Yes or no?
And free base during the Labor Day event at Nebraska Furniture
Can
Mart.
you mute me, though?
Instantly pick up to $1,100.
So
they need hazardous pay. They need hazardous pay. I mean,
Whoa,
just think about it.
Who's gonna do that? Who's gonna get them hazardous pay?
But that's what we're asking them to do. We're asking them to risk their lives, the lives of those in their families. I mean, the impacts of someone testing positive for COVID are far-reaching. It doesn't just affect the person that has tested positive. Now you have to test all the people that they may have come in contact, that they may have exposed. So yes, a lot of teachers are sitting up there going, I have elderly parents, I have children, and I know there's this whole, well, children, usually they survive it. No mother wants her child to be sick, period. They get sick. But this disease, it actually causes you to be very, very sick. Even if you do recover, you're very, very weak. People have been in need of getting assistance just to go to the bathroom. They're so weak. So those are things. Kai, is the video ready?
Yeah.
Click on it, Kai, and let's get it cracking.
Here we go.
Make a final adjustment for
All
more
right, listen.
comfortable nights.
When I get it back up, we need to just.
I got you. Just let it play. And like I said, but I will tell you right now, I agree. I think that they should get hazard pay. Is it ready, Kai? Just yes or no? But I think that it should. I'm saying. So let me go ahead and share that. It says she's ready. Boom. Go ahead, Kai.
Opening Eagle Mountain Saginaw schools too soon.
Welcome, Rebecca.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you.
Middle school teacher Rebecca Asher took her turn at the microphone
I understand you have very difficult decisions ahead of you tonight,
and shared her own very difficult decision.
but I feel that the words this evening have fallen on deaf ears. And so tonight, I respectfully offer you my resignation, for I need to take care of my family.
The middle school theater and yearbook teacher resigned on the spot. And today
It certainly was not a decision that came to me lightly.
says she still believes she made the right choice. The school year was starting with too many unanswered questions about how they would keep the virus at bay.
I just didn't feel the district had adequate plans to keep both students and teachers safe.
After the school board meeting, trustees did make changes announcing that the school year will begin online only on August 20th, delaying in-person classes until at least September 8th. We'll continue to monitor the local conditions surrounding COVID-19 leading up to the September 8th date.
I truly am heartbroken, and I certainly did not want to put my administration in that position so close to starting the school.
Okay. Now,
But also, go ahead.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No. I want to say, first off, teachers don't make damn well enough of pay for the stuff that they put up with, especially when it comes to children. Teachers have been playing teacher, mentor, parent, guidance counselor, a lot of things nowadays. And literally, they have to stand in line for a lot of that. As far as it's going for, as far as it goes when it comes down to these young adolescents, I felt for her when she said, "Hey, I got to also take care of mine." A lot of these teachers,
Right, you just touched on that.
right?
That's what I said. Yeah.
A lot of them are like, "Yo, I got people back at home." Like, I know there's one teacher. He takes care of his parents, and he also has a wife, and he also has a baby on the way. And he's like, "Yo, like, I'm supposed to teach 2 classes now, so I got to teach history and coach, and also now do I forgot what else he has to do. I think he also has social studies. So he has 3 things now. And he's like, yo, y'all not paying me enough for that.
That is a lot.
Now,
what is a yearbook teacher?
Well, I mean, but somebody.
What is that?
But you know what a parent told him? That's your job. That's your job.
What's his job? To teach. To teach, not to be a parent, though. That's where some people out here get it messed up, too. You all are part of the cause of overworking the teachers because y'all not on your job teaching your kids more at home. I've talked about that before, but for me to push it on y'all a little more, use that sit there and figure your child should just know everything from school. They come to you, they can't even get no answers from you. It cannot be like that. You have to be involved with your child's learning. There's a lot you don't have to always be involved with, but some of it. You know, if you remember something, refresh yourself up on it, but they definitely not here for that. You know, not just for that. And especially not well-disciplining your kid. And then it's just extra stuff too that go on in inner city communities that can be avoided because some of it has to be after we got to stand up more in our house, I think, than pushing so much on the teachers. They're only supposed to do so much.
Your thoughts, Michelle?
I mean, school is not supposed to be daycare. It's definitely not supposed to be an alternative for a home life. Many teachers do have to buy equipment and supplies. And think about these masks. These masks that you're supposed to change on a daily basis. These teachers are going to see some of these kids from lower economic background or those from a higher economic background. There's going to be, I hate to admit it, but people are going to steal each other's masks. It's the nature of the being that there are going to be some kids that come in with these super cool looking masks. It's going to be fights over the mask, just like there are over the tennis shoes. There's a reason why we went to having our children wear uniforms. So now we're faced with the whole idea, what are the realities going to be if these kids are coming to school with or without masks? I know some places they say the kids don't need the mask, but what about the teacher? She's going to have to buy a mask for herself on a daily basis, wash her mask, whatnot, to make sure that she's maintaining proper hygiene for herself. There are a lot of unexplored issues with a person being forced in a classroom with 30 people on a daily basis. When there are other alternatives available. Yes, I'm sorry that you chose a profession that requires you to be on site and you can't stay at home with your child. But again, let's talk about personal responsibility. The same people that are always talking about personal responsibility want the schools to open up so they don't have to have the personal responsibility of being at home with their own children during school hours, so that can teach them during school hours.
I want to show y'all, and shout out to Brother Rob.
Yes, peace, Brother Rob.
I'm saying, one school And like I said, I'm not just talking about the poor schools. I'm talking about like schools that they got some bread. Are even saying those teachers are like, no, I'm not getting paid enough for this.
But even with the universities, they don't have it together.
Yeah,
Professors make good money,
right?
But it's not about that. It's about health. You know what I'm saying? There is certain instances where I don't make enough money, but some of this is life and death. It don't matter how much you're making. There's some things that are not worth your stress and not worth your health, period. So this is like a slap in the face because the schools have to come up with the plan themselves, and it's not really fair. It got dumped on them. Don't y'all agree? Didn't it get dumped on them?
No, it did, and that's why I brought up.
We was running a school, and it just got dumped on us. We can't reopen until we prove that we can keep these kids safe.
Some people,
come on.
Some people are being forced. The hands are being forced. Where Cincinnati, I'm sorry I butchered the name, you guys. This is in Elizabeth Albany High School in New York State Capitol on Friday. More than 100 teachers, social workers, and school counselors, and over 200 paraprofessionals in Cincinnati City School lost their jobs Friday night after the school board approved a long list of layoffs as the district faces down a potential 20% loss of state aid. Take that into account. This didn't make national news. Now, this happened on the 4th, 2020. Let's be honest. Unemployment is getting harder to get on unemployment, is it not?
My grandmother never went to college and didn't have a ton of money, but she always found ways to help people. Her love of running and charity races inspired me and others to volunteer and help families well beyond the holidays. At WFAA.
I got that. So the next thing about it is, so the board, during the emergency meeting Friday, the board's third meeting this week, the board approved the layoffs in a set of resolutions that listed staff who had only just learned their fate in hours before the meeting. So in other words, they didn't even have time to plan. Some people got to resign. Some people didn't get the plan. And then looking at that, teachers and other staffs with the least seniority were let go as the district slashed 107 educator positions, including some that were vacant. About 10% of the district's roughly 1,000 educators, another 231 paraprofessionals, employees who monitor halls, assist in classrooms, and deal directly with students were also laid off. All this was done. Friday staff cuts come after the board on Monday rescinded 15 job offers and on Wednesday approved dozens of other support staff layoffs. Another round of layoffs, including over a dozen administrators, is expected at the board's September 16 meeting. Interim Superintendent Aaron Buchanek said Friday. Board members struggled during the meeting to find the words to express how badly they felt about the situation. The district has found itself in the actions they were taking, but board members try to address the laid off workers directly. You are valued. We know so many of you and how much you have dedicated to Cincinnati and our students and our parents. And that is not going without notice. Board members Bernice Rivera said, "There is nothing I can say that is right at this moment, but we truly appreciate everything you have done." Wow, can you imagine that type of send away letter? Told to you that same night. The layoffs included 26 elementary school positions, also 14 school social workers and teacher positions spread across every grade, subject area, and touching every corner of the district. Reading specialists.
What was the first name of Garcia?
Huh?
What was the first name of Garcia?
Let's see. Bernice Garcia. Let me.
Oh, okay. All right, never mind.
Oh, there you go.
I have a different Garcia, Lily Elkinson. She's the one that said Trump has no plan in order to even reopen the schools. No, that's a different person.
That's Bernice of Cincinnati School of the school district. See, that's just crazy how crazy it is. You can almost look up anybody nowadays on the school. You can literally Google any. But see, people on these boards in different places, they're public servants. You have to have access to them. Am I correct, Michelle? Yeah. And you have to be able
to. That's a whole nother thing, though. Never mind.
She said, I had the honor of working with social studies teachers of Cincinnati School District for over 10 years. My journey as a parent, educator, community member, and activist of Cincinnati has inspired me to catalyst for change. My current position at New York State United Teachers and Barden has broadened my horizon to strengthen the challenges facing schools across the state. Joining the school board will afford me the privilege to give back to a community and district. Wow. That has been integral to my personal and professional growth. Boy.
Integral.
That is quite a speech, boy. When you firing that many people, that is quite a speech. What's your thoughts?
No thoughts.
I mean, one of the things I've been looking at, I mean, he has to say something, that's one. But the reality is, when we get to this point where businesses are in a quagmire, government is a business, they have staffing that they have to pay for. So right now, the problem is trifold, so to speak, that you have the liability concern. Can people sue their employers for unnecessarily exposing them to COVID? 2, how are these schools getting funded? Are they getting funded by sales tax revenues, which are down, property tax revenues, which may be not down, but they're not readily collectible right now with so many people unemployed already or sick? So they have all these things that they have to consider in their budget analysis. And if we can strip it down to the bare essential employees, we serve 2 very important goals. We save money and we mitigate potential liability. The fewer people coming in to the employer place, the fewer people that could employer in
Michelle, you're breaking up. You're breaking up. Is she breaking up also?
Case, they could be found liable for unnecessarily.
Michelle, you're in and out.
So those are things that people are really thinking about, both in the public sector and in the private sector.
No, I agree. I want you to understand this. And the reason why we're showing y'all New York.
I know a lot of people are worried about their mortgage.
Well, I want to say this, Michelle. I think, and shout out to Kai for bringing this story, is what affects one state will ripple and start affecting more. Y'all must understand this. That displacement of education there, y'all gotta understand.
The fact that the president has given.
Okay, she dropped off.
Yeah, she was cutting off towards.
Now, Kai, can we agree that what's going to affect, and I will drop it down, so maybe you want to have an educator or a psychologist up here, like Information Man or Brother Rob? to fill it in. We can have one of them. We can have some people come
Why
up.
are you doing that? Did you hear about Tavius? Well, Tavius Peterkin.
Go ahead.
He's a young black man teacher, and he's done the same thing as like I just showed you. Whoever came in later, there's a video clip. If you know, you guys can replay it or check it out on WFAA.com. So that was the Eagle Mountain Middle School. I gotta slow down. All right, she retired, right? So we just watched that. Now this man retired also, but he's being fined $2,000.
Why is he being fined? See,
exactly.
This is my issue. I'm
going to mention the disparity even with that.
See, this is my issue that we're going to see. The school's going to come back and start suing people. If it starts looking at the contracts are jeopardized and they say, yo, we were going to pay you such amount of money, like they're going to look at it like you have to work. But literally, we already know that a lot of these talking points of things that are being brought up are very problematic, because a lot of these kids are going to fall back.
Yeah. So we need to know what's in the contract, though. What is really binding them, though, to take on this position for the school year?
Mm-hmm. So I wish I knew.
And it may vary though from school. I bet it varies because we got different type of school funding changes your policy for that school too. So even that's going to be different. It's like I don't know. We're creating more mess. Some people are creating more mess instead of working towards fixing it. We're making more mess. What I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I get you with that.
And it's not fair.
Now we have the third one. Now this one is right now also in my field, because we've been hitting on quite a few things. And this one is more so in my field of expertise. And we're going to start off with you, Kai. I want to ask you a question. How do you feel about all these militias showing up? How do you feel about that?
Well, it depends on which militias we're speaking of. So, making that point, is there too many? I can answer that question. Yes.
That is one of the things about it that
because we have militias. We have to have somebody taking, coming in and doing what they need to do. At least somewhat. Because we're not doing it, and the police are backing away. And then when it is popping off, a lot of times, I've been out there too, it's been other nationalities going at it. And it's mostly been, two-sided of whites. And that happens, it seems like when it gets dark. When it's earlier, I've been out there limping around. People out there, but I'll be out there at night too, and there is a change. There is a difference. Depending on the time of day you out there doing your protests, things like that. But now, it seems to be more militias, coming. Well, not seems, but there's more groups coming out. And then I just was watching the news earlier, and they had the Trump supporters started lining up, and then you have this guy in the bullhorn yelling, saying it was time for us to stand up. He said, it's time for us to stand up. We said, it's time for us to stand up. He said, we got to stand up and do something. And I'm like, do what? My question is, do what? That's what my question is. Like, what do y'all want to do?
Now, that is so true. What we're seeing definitely going on right now, that we're seeing it, whereas to a lot of militias are coming. And I wanted to point it out because as I look at all these groups and factions start to come about and start to grow, first off, what you say is very much so true. They're not fighting or caring to look at blacks right now. They're just not. Right now, they're more so focused on shooting out with each other. They're getting in whole militia gun, paratrouble issues. And I know some people feel a certain type of way about that. I know some people say we need to rise up. I don't doubt you. I don't doubt you at all. But also, I'm taking into account the fact that I'm notarizing the fact that, hey, where you going, and what are you planning on doing?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? What's your thought? I'm about to let you commentate this video that I'm about to show real quick. I'm about to show you a video, and I want to know your thoughts of this video. I want to know your thoughts of this video and literally your feel about it. Let me make sure I get it going. Go ahead, dear. We're gonna rip into this one. I'll be quiet and let you.
Peace to the chat.
Just make sure. Can you see it?
Yes.
So what do you think?
I mean, I see
now
on one side of the street. Okay.
Right. Now the thing that's crazy, right? But there seems to be more and more. And actually, I want y'all to understand, these militias have been getting into guerrilla warfare fights with each other.
Is what you're showing one full group, or are you saying this is two?
That was just one group by itself.
Okay.
That's one group by itself. Literally, that would almost be enough to be a platoon. That is more than the NFAC.
How do you know that?
Huh?
You don't know that, though.
Oh.
Really?
Actually, I would have to go get the other video.
I was going to say, we need to know how many is on here, because I wouldn't really say that. We don't know. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't say that. Because I know groups that are growing. So if there's groups that are growing, we can't even really put a cap on it. They saw how NFAC came out, and even there's footage of that I could pull up. They said there's not enough of us. If NFAC come through, they're going to clear us all out. That's exactly what they said, standing with the police. Standing with the police.
Okay. So
they don't want none of that.
So in saying that,
I want somebody to say they want something.
So in saying all of that, these groups,
keep it peaceful. Let's keep it peaceful though. But you see who did what when? Who did what first? Who pulled up? Who said, "Okay, I'll pull up"?
So the question is this, and here's my issue. They're having internal wars. Most armies don't do that, or most groups don't do that unless there is a struggle for power. Now, they're having.
I'm not gonna lie, I've been surprised by some of the extra subdivisions, because it wasn't. I expected more of an uproar. I expected the race war. The race war was already here. It's just kind of been rising in different ways. But as far as these other groups beefing it out with each other, I didn't really expect it to go down the way it's been going.
They're called called opposing militias. Armed Patriots. These are the Armed Patriots. There's a few other groups that are out there. The thing that's interesting about these people, about these groups, they have reach in with the police. They have reach with the police, different fields of government, different states, lawyers, funding. As you can already see, one person says, "Share, please, donations to travel expenses and necessities, Cash App." Like, they are literally funding They have people that are funding them, that are personal backers. I really believe that I really believe that they have more so than, and I'm being realistic about this. They got some stuff down the pipe. They got some stuff down the pipe, because when you're fighting for, when you're having these types of views, and literally you have it where politicians are backing you and supporting you, that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad, because that means you'll get backing, and that they will allow certain things to go in their sway. That they've been getting away and calling certain people they're fighting for their constitution. They've been able to walk up in a state house. We have not been able to do that. They have gone inside the state houses and threatened political officials. We're wondering just how far is it going to go for these people. Mind you, see, there's a guy right there. Look at that brother right there. He's just walking alongside with him. You know, I mean, hey, that's his choice. But in looking at these things that are happening, I can only imagine what more are these things going to inspire, where they got trucks blocking off and literally going up in front of local roads. They're going in front of federal. You can't do that on federal property. You're not supposed to be doing that. But clearly I see that, hey, fuck the law. I'm going to just do me. And so that's where I'm seeing.
Man.
And so that's where I'm seeing.
Going, brother.
You know, I want to use this as my last topic. I'm not against the NFAC. I'm not against them. But I'm also like this. To be honest, they can't afford to be open like that, like the other militias can be. The other militias have years and years and years and years of time to account on resources and stuff. There's no secret that they have access to people in law enforcement, lawyers. Before the boy even went to jail, $69,000 was already put up for him in bail, and he already has one of the best lawyers in Texas.
Well, that's because of Robert Giuliani. Well, who helped do that? Giuliani raised his ass. And I'm not calling the shooter a racist, but listen to what I'm saying. The people that want to help support this young kid that came out there and did what he did, he's the one that's backing this powerful attorney to back him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's on there. He spoke out. I look at what people are saying and what they're representing. They're making statements in front of all y'all face, in front of all of us. They are making statements. They're picking sides. They're creating sides and picking them. And they're doing it in front of our face.
Info man, you want to say anything before we have to stop the hour of power? I know you came in late, but I definitely want to sit down with you talking about these militias, because there's a lot of stuff coming down the pipe, brother. And I wish that you were kind of wrong on some of these things, but it looks like you might be definitely right on how it's going to be going.
Well, let me just say this, peace to the sister there, and to you what you're doing with your program. But we got to be honest about what we're seeing in America today, brother. This is I know for those of you that are Trump supporters out there, I get it. Both parties have done a lot of damage to black people, both Democratic Party and Republican Party. But if we're going to be honest, we got to be honest here. Donald Trump isn't the architect of racism, but he flames the fire. And I got the numbers, man. White folks voted for Donald Trump at 58%, okay, across the board. 58%, while 37% of them tried to vote for Hillary. 29% of black people, 29% of Latinos voted for Donald Trump, 29% of them, and another 29% of Asians. So much for the so-called coalition that they keep saying that we've got with people of color. And black people, and I know there's a lot of black folks on YouTube and about that talk about Trump, but black people voting for Trump was about 8%, which means black people who support Trump are really a minority. They're not really representing the majority of black people in the way we look at his presidency. With that said, this individual Rittenhouse, I don't call him a kid because you notice when black young men like Tamir Rice, who got shot with a toy gun, this guy had a real gun and nothing happened to him. When they characterize them, they want to call him a kid. When they characterize young black males, they call him a man. They pretty much dehumanized and disparaged the character of Trayvon Martin. So let's look at this, BMT.
Hang on, Inframan.
Why did
I have an emergency. I can allow y'all to take the show. I can allow y'all to run the show if y'all want to. I just got an emergency. Somebody crashed right in front of my property.
Okay. No, brother, let's just do this. Let's just do this again because this is too important of a subject to skip over.
Okay. It is.
Info. You already know.
I wanted to be on with info, and I always get a little piece.
I know. I wanted to get, but info's about to fire up, and he knows how I get when he fire up. Like I said,
let's do it again. And we'll get right to it, brother. This is too important of a subject matter.
Yes.
Because I wanted to sit down, you guys, because like I said, I was so serious that I wanted to, but like I said, I even had mine.
Right.
Y'all know I'm one of the very few content creators. I
got mine now too. My other one.
I know, Boo. But the thing about it is, I can't walk around the streets with this bad boy like other people can. I know some people gonna say, "Yeah, you can." Oh, no, dude.
But let me just leave you with this. This is pretty obvious. Why did the people that he shot? Why were they? If you look at the tape, why were they chasing after him? Because Kyle Rittenhouse had already shot somebody.
Right? Yeah, they were trying to apprehend him. But they're like, yo, why y'all chasing?
I have footage of some, but I don't know if it was from Rittenhouse, but it looks like it's him that shot this other man.
Yes, he shot someone.
Who said, shoot me.
And I saved it so it can't be deleted.
Right. The dude who said, shoot me, you calling the rest of them, and I know why they said he was racist. No, the white folks were calling the black college kids niggers. The white boy that was there was like, yo, call me a nigger. Call me one. Shoot me. And Kyle shot him in the face. He ran. They chased him. They got him to the ground, and they were trying to beat the gun out of his hand, and he started shooting them.
Right, but BMT, there's another backstory to the Kyle Rittenhouse that has not been told. Do you know that very night when he was out there with the gun, which is why
we lost you, info.
God damn, I want to get you.
Do you have your emergency too? I hate that he got cut off, but
y'all. Like I said, we do apologize for the hour of power. I'm gonna sit down with my family, Info and Kai, and we're gonna chop this up again. You guys, we thank y'all for allowing us to service y'all and do this show for y'all here on BMT. Peace. Trust me, there is gonna be a continuation to this about should we be readying our forces for the battles to come. I'm telling y'all right now, like, I get why Kai's passionate, because best believe they starting to flex their forces, and they having their own street beefs. Ain't nobody saying a damn thing about them having whole shootouts.
Right. I've been talking about protect yourself for months now. Before, you don't need to wait for something to happen. Just be aware and just be prepared. You got to protect your own.
See y'all guys later. Yeah. Peace from BMT's family. All right, y'all.